Okay, we're recording. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. On this video, I'm going to talk all about crowd work versus written material. And I feel it's really super beneficial for comedians to be able to transition between your structured, prepared set and improvising on stage. And I feel there are two ways in which we can improvise on stage that are very, very easy. That's going to be the first part of this video. So here's what we should think about. When you're at a gig, you're at an open mic, you're at a grassroots comedy event, ask yourself, how is this night going? Is it going very well or is it not? And you could put this to two words. Is it hot or is it cold? That's the kind of terminology you will hear a lot of comedians talk about. A hot room means that the audience are paying the correct amount of attention to the stage. There's nothing better than that. If the audience are paying attention, everyone is given the same ball and it's just a good night. Or it's cold. Something has happened and the night is not working out well. And it can be many reasons. The MC can be shit, likely case, or the venue can be set up against comedy, which is also very likely, especially at open mics. It's usually in a bad room. These are all good things. It's good to perform at these nights. I'm not saying these are, you shouldn't perform at bad gigs. You absolutely should. And it's about figuring out how to make it better in both situations. How to go on stage and perform at good nights, right? That's what we all want to do. And how to perform at bad nights too. And I feel the secret to this is being able to switch between your structured set and improvising. I did tell you that we were going to break down the two parts of improvising. So what I don't want you to do is improvise about an external idea. I want all your external ideas at the beginning of your career to be prepared ahead of time. That's your written bit. You're not going to go to an idea and start improvising. That comes later. Think about improvising as this. Two things. Either doing crowd work, we all know what that means. You open up a conversation with the audience. I'm going to talk more about that later on. Or the other way of doing improvised material is to point something humorous about the room. So something that's happening on the stage. It might be a curtain, it might be a brick wall, it might be a TV or a door that's here. Or there could be a lamp on the stage, or it could be any fucking thing at all that everybody can see. Now I'm saying on the stage because yes, it can be in the room, but I kind of like to do material on things that are behind behind the comedian. Because what you're doing is you're taking their attention and you're putting it to a thing. Even though technically you can point something that's funny about the back of the room, but what you're doing then is you're taking their attention and you're throwing it across far away from you. I just like to keep the attention on something that's close to you. I just like the subtlety of the power of that. Even though if you choose to point anything in the room out, that's fine. Those are the two areas, talking to the audience or material about the room. So if the room is hot, if everybody is paying enough attention, you can go into your prepared material as quick as you like, right? But even then, I would say the improvising about something that's in the room, an observational thing, I would say that's ideally how you would like to start a set, even if the room is red hot, because it's nice to get a laugh at the beginning of your set without sacrificing any of your material. But if you choose not to and go into your material, that's also fine because the night is going so well. But if the answer you come up to is no, this night's not going very well, it needs a bit of work, well, then it's best to go on stage and do the crowd work, or I would say what's slightly better is material about the room. And the reason I say material about the room is slightly better is because you don't want to start talking to a person that's not engaged. You want to make them at least 5% engaged and then open up dialogue with the audience. So let's break down exactly how you can do both these things. Material about the room is it's very simple. Before you start performing, when you're thinking of how the night's going, you look at the stage and you mentally think of a few things you can make fun of. You're not putting the night down.
That's not what I mean by this exercise. You're not going to go up there and complain about how bad the night's going. You're also not going to point out how terrible the setup is. You're just pointing something humorous about the room so that everyone can get on board, feel like an audience, treat you like the comedian, like the leader of the pack. And you might think this gets a cheap laugh. It is a cheap laugh because it's going to guarantee a laugh. But guaranteeing a laugh is a good thing in a room that aren't giving many laughs. And it's always about making sure that the night is 5% better, right? Are we going to do this material about the room or crowd work at a very bad event and have it smash it out the park and have it be amazing and everyone chanting your name at the end? No, that's most likely never going to happen. But by making it 5% better, the MC would appreciate it, the acts would appreciate it, and especially the other comedians would appreciate it. And if everybody starts making the night 5% better, there's no reason as to why all the comedians on that bill won't be able to leave there at the end of the night having a very good time. I do not believe that there's any audience in existence where the show cannot be at least quite pleasant and fun to be at. I have never seen it where the audience are just that bad that they can't be worked on. By going to the fucking gig in the first place, they have told you that they're up for a good time. So if something happens in the room, it's about slowing down, doing material that's directly connected to the immediate situation. I've spoke about when you're going to point out something humorous about the room, you just jot it down or think about it before you go on stage. And it doesn't need to be funny because the more consistent you do this, the funnier it's going to be. It just needs to be done. How do we talk to the audience? Now, we talk to the audience in the same way, using the same questions that every single comedian you've ever seen talks to the audience. They never do a different question than this. Never. It's, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? And are you in a relationship? Or are you with this person that you're sitting next to? That's always, always, always the way. It's never going to be any other question. And the only time you will see another question is if the question is a punchline in itself. Like, if a comedian on stage will say, oh, what's your bank account number or something? Clearly, that's a punchline in itself. That's a joke in itself. So if it's actually going to be a back and forth conversation, those are the questions. Now, I've been doing critique videos for you guys, private critique videos of your performance on this channel. And if you're interested, just drop into the description box and email me. I'd love to hear from you. And what I've noticed is the comedians that do, not all, but some of the comedians that do crowd work, it's almost like you're afraid to ask the questions that work. It's almost like you're trying to come up with new ways of asking the questions I have just given you. And I would say don't do that. Just be like all the other comedians and ask the same question. No one is going to be against you for asking the exact same question because that's not what you're copying. You're going to have a unique answer to their answer. You're going to have your own unique style on comedy. So don't be afraid to ask the same questions. What's your name? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? And the relationship. And then if they are in a relationship of the person that they're next to, you ask them, the person they're next to, the exact same questions. And then you can use the versus, the connection jokes, like if they're from the same place or if they're from a different place. How do they meet? Or if they work at the same job or they don't work at the same job. Either of these outcomes are interesting. How do you meet this person if you're not working together? All that kind of stuff. How long have you been together? Nearly always when you ask two people how long they've been together, they say different things. And that in itself is very, very funny. You can just say that happened and it's very funny. So both of these techniques are so easy that it's just so quick and easy to get a laugh from them. And I have so many people so terrified about improvising when it's much easier than than writing and learning off your set. So don't be afraid of it. Here's where I'll finish this video. The most important thing, when to get good and practice your improvising on stage, whether it be talking to the audience or material about the immediate situation, material about what's observational material about the stage, or what you can notice in the room. Here's when you practice it. You practice at the good gigs. When the crowd is hot and everyone's paying attention, that's the best time to practice your improvising parts of the show. So at the beginning or the middle, you mentally sacrifice a section of planned material, and you go into riffing on stage, improvising on stage. And here's the great news. You don't need to feel too nervous, because you know whatever topic you have coming up in your prepared material, you can go into that whenever you want. Therefore, you can stay longer in this unknown territory of riffing and improvising, because I would suggest push through when it starts to feel uncomfortable. Because the first few seconds you're just going to be talking and it's not feeling uncomfortable. But I want you to push through there and do up to maybe a minute, maybe even longer, on improvising and trying out material about the immediate situation and trying talking to the audience. And therefore, if the more you do that and then go into your structured set, the more you're going to have to rely on it at difficult gigs, because at difficult gigs, you're not going to be able to go up and just go into your prepared material, because the audience are not paying attention. So that's why it's so important to be able to transition from your structured set to riffing on stage. You want to be able to do only material about the immediate situation when the audience are not paying attention, because that's the kind of comedy that breaks the attention, that gets the correct focus towards you as the comedian. And only then, when you have all the focus and the night is going very well, do you want to then take them and go into your prepared material. But some gigs are going to be so difficult that you might find you want to sacrifice your written material altogether. If you're only doing 5 minutes on stage, you might want to sacrifice all your prepared material and just do immediate material. And you're going to thank yourself afterwards, because the whole night is going to be running more smoothly. So that's what I want you to get from this video. Is the room hot? Are people really enjoying it and engaged with the comedy? Then fine, go on, do a lot of your prepared material and leave a little section for getting good at improvising. Whichever way you choose to do works best for you. If the room is cold, well then do material about the room that you have previously practiced at an easier night. And always make the night 5% better for everybody. Unless, of course, the MC is really, really shit and you just want to ruin the night just to annoy them. In which case, I'm all for it as well. All right, get out of here. See you on the next one.